the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner, where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing today? Guys, don't forget to smash the like button on your way in. I appreciate you guys for joining me. What's going on, John? What's going on, Reese? How you fellas doing? Hope you guys had a sick weekend. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. Pretty stoked for the weekend. I got my butt kicked at work, man. Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Let's take a look. Bitcoin currently trading at $68,405.99. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and hope that they didn't kick me out. And I'm still logged in. Okay, cool. Let's go to the 12-hour and see what we got for weekend liquidity. It's Monday, man. Don't do that to me. Sometimes that happens. Okay. Let's see. Get a little zoom action in here. We've got above us 69,095. 69,095. I don't know why we do this or why we started. I mean, I know why we do it, so that we can see the liquidation points, but when it started, 70,308. I don't actually know when it started. Gosh, that's such a small range. And then down below, we've got 68,083. And the very bottom of this chunk at the very least is 66,819. Okay, so that's our weekend range. Tomorrow is a federal holiday. It is President's Day, so happy President's Day, everybody. I don't know what that means for anything, other than the fact that the stock market, for some reason, doesn't trade on President's Day. It is what it is. But Bitcoin, very unfortunately heavily correlated with the stock market. Probably not going to do too much, even though we did get a little excited yesterday. Dominance 59. It is struggling with 59 still, but looking at a potential double bottom action here. See if we can get a bounce off of that, or if it's going to actually break below that again and continue to the downside. That would be exciting. Waterfly said, which black shirt today? Today, I dug up a relic. Let me get the chair. It's a good thing that I didn't do the green screen today. Today, I am going... This is the goofiest shirt I own. I don't know why it is this way, but for whatever reason, Spider-Man is like... his legs way up here. Why that is, I don't know. He's got like a little stanky leg thing going on. Let me make the camera bigger. Little stanky leg thing going on. I have no clue what's going on here or why it's going on, but it cracks me up. Pretty funny. I don't know who designed the shirt, why they designed it that way, but it is what it is. What's going on, Waterfly? Okay, Bitcoin dominance 59. If it breaks down from here, that would be exciting. Our size at 50. Not too much going on Market Cipher. Not that that would matter. Jordan has a Patreon now. Got to be the bottom. Interesting. What's going on, Tom Selesco? What do you get when you sign up for the Patreon? Bitcoin, 68,357.05. Let's go through the motions. We've got ETH down 0.47% on the day, currently trading at 1,957. Actually, before we move forward, let's go to the daily and see what our, I guess the weekly, see what the weekly close was for Bitcoin. It was red. Surprise, surprise. I would not be surprised if we get some kind of lingering for the next 3-4 weeks just to settle down. We're still oversold on the RSI, which is super interesting. On the weekly RSI being oversold, that's kind of a big deal. What is that? What does that say? Big expiry? Oh, does that happen this week? Okay. We'll see what that entails. Anyways, ETH, $1,960.20. 88, my friend. What's going on? 88 Metals. Tom Selesco. Cheers, guys. Welcome. His mega amazing stock and crypto trades for Tom Selesco. All right, very cool. Lunar Entity said patiently waiting to see a defense of the 62-63 area or the daily open at 62.7 defended. What if I said not signing up for that? What a user he is. Damn. I will do a an OnlyFans. Yes, my hat is off right now. I'm itching my head, but you guys will never see a little trick there, a little tease. I'll do an OnlyFans where you guys get to see me without my hat. Oh God. Okay. I'm joking. I'm not actually gonna do that. Tom Selescoat. Yep, we read that. Lunar Entity said patiently. Yeah, we read that too. John. Yep. Okay. Tom Selescoat said so. Basically, you get rugged after being promised 10 trillion market cap. Oh. Happy Sunday, guys. I missed you guys. I was on Blockchain Brew. I was in the freaking the Dong Minecraft server. That was a lot of fun. I kept getting stuck on the Dong. Oh my God. I fixed my stream, dude. I have 0 dropped rates right now. Beautiful upload. Ooh. I have fine-tuned, I've tweaked the nips of my settings. My mic sounds good. You know what's crazy? When you put time and effort into something and you get a return on your investment, it feels good, man. It feels so good. I put some time and effort into tweaking my settings and optimizing my stream. I have 0 drop frames right now, and you guys said the audio sounds beautiful. What a wonderful time to be alive. Tom Selescoat said, you have an itch. You were scratching your head. Yeah, that's what I said. Isn't that what I said? Lunar Entity said, this year should be quite turbulent based on a lot of liquidity charts. I concur. I think that's definitely going to happen. HYG looks absolutely horrid on the quarterly too. So ETH, 1958, back below 2K. Kind of sad. We've basically retraced all of our fun that we had on Friday. So obviously that was to be expected. The weekend moves are usually fake. So no surprise here. We did get a bearish cross over the moving average on the RSI as well. You said you're itching your head. And you said you have an itch. You are scratching your head. Oh, wow. Semantics. I'm very proud. If you can't see, I'm clapping. Or slapping. Okay. Anyways. What are we doing? We're talking about ETH. So there was a potential trend line here. We're below it. Obviously, not, it's not law. There's only 2 points of confluence, so it's not too crazy. But still a little bit sad to see. Let's see if we end up touching this 1812 level again. Or if we can get back above that. Tomorrow is President's Day, as I said, so there's not going to be any stock trading. It's closed market, 3-day weekend. So kind of expecting today and tomorrow to be the same. Solana's down 0.58% on the day, currently trading at 85.63. Didn't even touch. Actually, we did. We got above 90 for a brief second. We had one candle above. The second one broke right back below it. So let me scratch my head really quick. Hold on. So yeah, Solana. So it seems to be holding up better than ETH. ETH has been like almost flatlined. It looks like it's getting pancaked in a George Foreman. The fat's burning right off. Solana, on the other hand, a little more leeway here. It's a little on the up and up. It's sitting above that median point which is nice. More than you could say for ETH. But it probably got pushed down a lot more than ETH, so they're probably about even right now if you really measure it. Solana's still above $100, which is a little crazy to me. Bearish crossover the moving average and the RSI. We are bouncing off of 50, so we'll see if that goes anywhere. Red dot of the momentum wave pointed to the downside. Money flow is still positive, though. ETH, wishy-washy. Bitcoin positive. Interesting. Okay. Let me go check precious metals really quick. Actually, we'll get there. We'll get there. We're going to be patient. Total 3, down 0.24%. Rejected our trend line. What is this trend line, you ask? I also ask. This trend line started October 2023. We had one touch. Has anyone ever seen Don't Mess with the Zohan? The Adam Sandler movie. Where the guy calls and he's like trying to threaten him. He's like trying to blackmail the guy and he's like, your wife, you let me have time with your wife. And he's like, no. And he's like, she give one pee-pee touch. That's what this reminds me of. We got one pee-pee touch with a wick on total 3. So not a ton of confluence there, but we did break below it, so it doesn't matter anyways. Head and shoulder target for science. That chart's so messy. You guys got to make me clean my charts. We got left shoulder, head, right shoulder. With that, the neckline did break, and we are below the neckline. So my uber bearish guess of 711 no longer really in play. I guess technically we're above it, but the head and shoulder target is 540. So we'll see if that ends up hitting. We got some nice wicks. So we got a wick indicative of some buying pressure, and then we got a nice reversal candle. So we'll see, obviously, on the weekly when this candle plays out as. But so far, we're rejecting. We're rejecting that trend line, which, again, is not a gospel trend line. Technically speaking, you could call that support. Nice wicks. So, yeah, I guess we'll put a little more faith into the trend line than just 2. That is a 50% increase with 3, so RSI chilling. This is on the daily as well, 4 hour. Yeah, it's quiet, man. It's quiet. We're right in the middle on the RSI. Red dot of the momentum wave. Positive money flow. I'm not sure if money flow, how it really applies to total 3, if I'm being honest. 8 is down 0.32% on the day, currently trading at 28.10. Okay. We rejected 30. Pretty harsh rejection if you really zoom in. It's a double top on a smaller time frame. So are we going to get a double bottom here? I don't know. The October 10th Binance wick allegedly has been filled. And ADA actually did trade at bear market lows. So not financial advice. Maybe a buy opportunity. Any of these tokens, any of these coins, anything in the top 10, top 20 that I admire, that I enjoy, that I invest in, as soon as it touches bear market bottom from the last bear market, I'm probably going to buy some. Waterfly said, like broken. Okay. Calvin said, I remember when I bought at 8K back in 2019, only to see it go down to 3.5K just a few months later. If you're in it for the long term, you'll do just fine. Stay blessed. Appreciate that, Calvin. I actually just read a great quote from Warren Buffett that said, don't buy any stock that you're not willing to hold for 10 years. Don't even bother. And I thought that that was some good insight. Not that I want to wait 10 years, but what if I said JJ doesn't really have a head? Hat covers AI brain. That is actually true. I am a Claude bot on a Mac Mini. You guys just don't know it yet. I've actually been a AI psyop, which is why, because we can't afford the RAM to render my head under the hat, the black shirt, the black background. We were testing some beta features with the green screen, with the AI. A lot of processing power though, a lot of water cooling. So now we're back to the just the regular Claude bot Mac Mini setup. Lunar Entity said pandemic debt begins rolling this year too. Historic event. Never before in history have we seen a worldwide rolling of a 0% interest rate regime. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. So far, on a Mac Mini, it's crazy. I'm not actually on a Mac Mini. The Claude bots are on Mac Minis. That was the joke. I'm on a beautiful PC that I built after hijacking my daughters to start streaming, which was fun. I built that one as well. Just like AI, JJ is bad at math. Yeah, I'm built on one of those one of the CPUs that sometimes just doesn't do good math. I asked you guys, we got 10 votes so far. Don't forget to smash the like button. I said markets are closed tomorrow. What does Bitcoin do while TradFi sleeps? So far, I have no idea. Is winning with 40% of the votes, followed by sideways until Tuesday with 30. I get the satire, sir. Sometimes people need a little bit of spoon feeding. I don't mind. It's Sunday. We're all friends here. 20% said fake out, then dumped to 65K, and 10% said break 70K bull run. Interesting. We'll leave that. Let it continue to accumulate. Lunar Entity said, I think it's around 40 trillion in sovereign obligations. The U.S. nearly 30% of that, I believe. Wow. Okay. We talked about Bitcoin, ADA, SNEC down 0.19, retracing some gains here at 58.33. As long as we stay above 5, I'll be happy. If we lose that, then I'm gonna get a little butt hurt, but it is what it is. Higher lows as we continue. Like to see that. Midnight, same situation, looking good. XRP down 0.18%, or I'm sorry, 0.81% on the day. Currently trading at $1.46. I don't like that we got back below 150. That's a little sad. This little overhyped pump getting retraced. I'm wondering if it's going to do this same thing that it did back here. You got a hype pump, retrace, a little sideways, and then another pump, which retraced and went sideways. Is this going to be a repeat? It does look like maybe it's happening over a longer period of time. I don't know. Let's see. If we end up pulling back to 140 and holding it, then maybe we can do one of these setups where we just keep doing that over and over again. That is kind of how the charts move. Waterfly said, hope not. Tom, I'll be dead by then. Damn. Damn, Waterfly. Okay. H-bar up 0.4%. One of the few green tokens today. It is currently trading at 10 cents, holding 10 cents actually. This is huge. H-bar has been doing weirdly good. We talked about this very sideways choppy level being held, and then it lost it, but then it established like this beautiful floor at like, what is that? 87.50? We'll call it 87.50. This lovely floor right here. And it did a little inverse middle finger where you got finger, middle finger, and then the rest of the hand. And now it's shooting to the upside, which is very nice. We had obviously anticipated a psychological resistance level of 10 cents. Having broken above that, we got a seller's wick, and we're currently retesting and potentially holding that as support. That's actually a big deal. I'm excited about that. RSI getting a nice bounce off of 50 after a bearish cross over the moving average today, actually. So we'll see where we end up. Hopefully we hold it and continue the upside. I would like to see that. H-bar been doing some good things. For some reason, bullish news for H-bar is the only thing that moves the token itself. Everything else on the planet has bullish news and it all crashes, including crypto. H-bar is the one where bullish news still pumps the price, which is kind of cool. Lunar Entity said people should be more thankful that Bitcoin hasn't had a period of accumulation like gold. Imagine waiting 20 years for Bitcoin to escape 16K. I think that's the only upside of Bitcoin being so young, is that the market cap is technically low. So we do actually get this fluctuation in liquidity, and it's fun. I gotta update my Chrome. I just noticed that it's gonna bug me the entire stream now. Okay. SWE. There's not much to talk about SWE. I want it back above $1. I want it to hold back above $1. The fact that we failed to hold above $1 for the second time has me a little bit butthurt. But there's potential to continue to chip away at this. Little brute force, never hurt anybody, and then eventually break above it. Maybe. We'll keep our eye on it. We do have positive money flow on the 4-hour, which is exciting. Ondo, also turning heads. Kind of did a similar thing to H-bar, but you had this floor, broke below it, and then you had another kind of floor established around 24, it seems. And now we're back above this floor back here. Are we going to stay above it? Close above it? I don't know. It's a little wishy-washy. Let's 2750 psychological. Can we stay above that? And then eventually break 30. 30 is the resistance right now. So we'll keep an eye on that. RSI looks good, just like H-bar as well. Got that bearish cross today. Bounce off of 50. Let's see if we continue to go up. Positive money flow. Ondo. Ondo has way too much good news for me to think that it's going to be down forever. But it might end up being one of the flavor of the week tokens that just disappears into the limelight. Cheers, guys, by the way. Cheers. Delicious. Okay. Arrow. Not much to talk about here. Potential inverse head and shoulder setup, maybe. Be kind of cool to see. Little neckline action around like 34, 35. Avalanche. Similar setup. Resistance at 10. Can we get back above $10 for Avalanche and Chainlink, frankly? We were incredibly overbought right here on the 4-hour time frame, so we did get a pullback. Bearish crossover the moving average and the RSI. Looks like it's trying to hold above 50. I like that we're getting our double top right here and a potential double bottom right here, even if it's very, very small. Chainlink, very same thing playing out on Chainlink. Chainlink and Avalanche look very similar. I suspect it's just an altcoin thing. Double top. Let's see if we get a double bottom. I don't know. Time will tell. Bearish crosses everywhere. This one's below 50 though on the RSI. We do have positive money flow. Red dot in the momentum wave. Staggering to the downside, looking like it's going to hold around 0. Gold. Gold. Still following the fractal, man. I'm excited to see what this looks like Monday, Tuesday. I don't know if it opens on Monday. Yeah, Monday might be a nothing burger. We'll see. I don't know. Does gold care about federal holidays? We'll see. We'll see. Regardless, looking like the end of the week going to be that final little touch to the downside. If, only if, the fractal continues to follow along. It actually does look really good to me. Now, what's interesting is on the OG fractal, which is what this hand-drawn one is based off of, we do have a big spike right here. Now, I minimize that a little bit right here. Like, this hump right here is this. This hump right here is this. This little uptrend, along with that, are both actually the same exact thing right here. So let's see what happens if it plays out like that at all. Yeah, Monday might be nothing burger, and then Tuesday upside. I don't know. Again, that's entirely up to if it's going to continue to follow the fractal. I do thoroughly enjoy mapping out fractals, even if you guys think it's ridiculous. If somebody thinks it's ridiculous, it's not really my concern. I honestly could care less. I enjoy it. Entity said gold futures are open. Okay, I like that. 88 Metals Mania said gold and silver trade global. No. Markets on them are currently open. Gold adjacent equities and funds will be closed, however. Okay, so gold futures, or gold and silver futures are open, but equities and funds will be closed. So like ETFs and stuff like that. All the American, federal American stuff. Gosh, my head is itchy today. I'm a little bit warm, and I think it's because it's not like 0 degrees outside right now. So we have our heat set at like a 0 degree worthy setting. And it has warmed up a little bit outside, so I'm a little bit sweaty. I'm scared because I have not had this setup in the summer yet, and there's no air conditioner in this room. We don't have central air at my apartment. I might end up having to put an air conditioner in the window. Okay, let's carry on. Gold looks really good. We'll continue to monitor it. It's at 49.98 right now. Getting back above 5K is going to be a big deal. Market Cipher shows a green dot. Again, I don't know if that really applies, but I'm going to point it out when I see it. We also got a bullish crossover the moving average and the RSI on Friday. We are currently testing that, potentially crossing bearish. But it does look like, it just looks like a big consolidation to me, man. Like, this is very much constrained within the RSI. So is it going to pop? And if it does, is it going to go up or down? Anyone's guess is as good as mine. As of right now, though, I do like the fractals odds. Might be that new modem heating up. Yeah, the Spectrum modem, the trash Spectrum modem. So I'm quite excited. I have lost literally 0 dropped frames. I changed my bit rate. I've been randomly tweaking IBS. Wow, isn't that irritable bowel syndrome? Damn. I was not tweaking my irritable bowel syndrome. I don't have IBS, thankfully. Knock on wood. I was tweaking my OBS settings. And so far, so good. I'm going to stop talking. Real interest rates look like they want to get frisky on much higher time frames. Gross. That's from Lunar Entity. Okay, silver. Silver does not look as sexy as gold. It is down 1.46%. Kind of tweaking right here. Are we going down lower? Waterfly said just open window. You don't need AC unit. That's actually fair. It is nighttime. That's actually fair. I guess I don't want people knowing that I stream. And so what sucks about my apartment, for some reason, we got these big, dumb, tall windows, and they open sideways, and within like 5 feet of the window is the sidewalk. So anyone outside is going to hear everything that I'm saying and doing. Tom Scott said, bro, over here shitting himself while he works on his frame rate. I'm like, why isn't it working? Oh, it's the frames keep dropping. That's so disgusting. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I just did that. Okay, let's carry on. Let's continue. Yeah, silver's been really weird around this $75 level. I want to do a new poll. I'm going to end this poll. I asked you guys, markets are closed tomorrow. What does Bitcoin do while TradFi sleeps? 40% of you guys said, I have no idea. 30% said sideways until Tuesday. 20% said fake out, then dump to 65K. And 10% said breaks 70K bull run. That was a total of 10 votes. So appreciate you guys for participating in that. Let's do a new poll. Do you think silver... What do you think silver does this year? What do you think silver does this year? So for the entirety of 2026, sideways, barely changes, up, crazy, upside, down, crazy downside, scary downside, or what's up, down, sideways? Depends on the rest of the market. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. I asked you guys, what do you think silver does this year? We got sideways, barely changes, up, crazy upside, down, scary downside, or depends on the rest of the market. Lunar Entity said, I'm quite bullish on cash, actually. That's so interesting. So here's my question for you now. Good transition. I'm still unsure if silver is going to maintain any semblance of this height or if it's actually going to retrace all the way down to like 50, 40, 30, $20 levels. But the DXY, this one is probably my favorite chart right now, just because I have no idea what to expect. 15 years worth of trend line being tested right now. And again, you know, it's TA, it's subjective, and I don't even know if it applies to the value of the dollar. But we got this trend line establishing itself April 2020 or 2011, and then reaffirming itself February, March, April 2021, which was the bull market, by the way. This was literally Bitcoin top. What else was? 2018, this was also Bitcoin top. What? What? So was this the Bitcoin top? I just blew my own mind on accident. Okay, anyways, we're testing that. We got a double bottom right here, but it has officially broken this trend line recently. And we're trading below it. And I think we've closed below it again for like the second or third time, depending on what time frame. I don't know how many more arrows am I going to put on the chart. Do you see right here? I don't know, it just fascinates me, the fact that we've lost this trend line that we've established and held since 2011. That's a long time. So how do you feel about that? And give me your thoughts. The RSI does look very consolidating, and it also looks like, and again, this is the DXY, so I don't even know if this applies, but that looks like a beautiful little wedge structure where it could go boop, pop up. And it looks like it's trying to show some strength. It's just interesting to me. Have we closed the weekly below? Probably need 2 weeklies to confirm. We have, actually. I'm on the weekly. We've got one below, the second one above, the third one below, which we just closed. And then this one is the new one that we gotta... There's all the arrows again. I've done it again. Oh, Beyonce's calling me. Excuse me. Hello. Okay, we're good. Oh, okay. Let's see. Tom Selleck's goat. Yep. So yeah, we've closed 2 so far weekly. The first one we closed, the second one we got back above the trend line, and the third one we closed. But that's also semantics because I can adjust this and we can probably still be above or below. And if you go in logarithmic, you know, it's that weird TA. Does she know you're on? She does, yeah. Luno Entity said the monthly and the quarterly suggest that the dollar could reverse from here, prompting a new Plaza Accord deal. You know what? Actually, let's ask Grok that about the Plaza Accord. Careful, Waterfly. Okay. What does a new Plaza Accord mean for the dollar, stock market, Bitcoin, and crypto? Wow, I butchered that. Bitcoin and crypto and gold and silver. I cannot type today. Gold and silver. The dollar is on the same really strong moving average on monthly, quarterly. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. This has just been probably my favorite chart right now, just because it's so different compared to things that I've watched. DXY we talked about in detail. MicroStrategy. Oh, I guess I want to go back to this as well. The ISM manufacturers PMI. We don't have too long until the sprints again. We got 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks, 14 more days, and then this bad boy's coming out with another print. If it goes higher, that could be, even if it's just a little bit, if it does one of these, like a nice little gentle rise, that might be the trigger that we need. Strictly business cycle, you know, beliefs, but still, the data's there. It's just so interesting to me. Let's get this bad boy up here really quick. Yeah, check this out. If I go vertical lines, and we've done this before, so, you know, I apologize for, I guess, showing off the same thing over and over again, but looking at this, split it 50-50, zoom in right here, and get me a vertical line. We've got Bitcoin all-time high correlating with this thing basically topping out, and then another Bitcoin all-time high, 2 actually, technically. You got this initial all-time high lining up perfectly with this thing topping out. And then one more, most recently right here, in that we got our initial break actually right here. So this is Bitcoin breaking its previous all-time high pre-halving, with the ISM PMI coming in above 50 for the first time since the 2021 bull market. And then it came back down. Bitcoin came back down as well. And then we got another expansion right here. Bitcoin grew into this. Like Bitcoin started growing even before. We kind of flatlined here, came down and came back up. Bitcoin was just climbing that whole time. And then this one's the only anomaly right here. This one is the only anomaly where Bitcoin put in its final high in... Actually, no, I'm sorry. I think the Bitcoin high is right here. September, October. Oh, that actually lines up perfect then. Yeah, because it wasn't in July. What? I'm blowing my own mind right now. So we got peak above 50, peak above 50, and then this is just uptrend with Bitcoin peaking. It's not even above 50, but you get 1, 2, and a third consecutive uptrend. That's a proper uptrend, you know? A proper, whether or not you want to call it expansion, it is still growth towards expansion. So it's a little bit of copium in there, but I don't know. I'm really excited about this. ISM manufacturers PMI coming in bullish. This might be... Yeah, I mean, right here, Bitcoin, like this comes in up, and Bitcoin does a little bit of nothing, waiting, and then it gets really crazy, and Bitcoin starts to slowly pick up. Is that what we're experiencing right now? I have no idea, but regardless, I'm excited. Can I get rid of that? Okay, nice. Okay, so we talked about the DXY. Let's go back to MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee. See what they're up to. Let me see really quick in the chat. Lunar Entity said, you need some kind of catalyst to prompt intervention like that, though global capital flows are figuring out the new post-tariff landscape, and the U.S. forces a new era of factions. Japan is in, probably why the Nikkei is roaring. China starts setting trade in gold, will be interesting. Okay, yeah, that was Tom Select Go. Lunar Entity then said actual borrowing rates ticker is I'll copy paste that if you were curious. Tom Select Go said, if that's true, then when moon is soon. I'm hoping so. We'll have to obviously. This goes back into the copium, so excuse me. We will probably have to see further bullish prints because right now everything's so wishy-washy. People are so standoffish. If the next print is actually back below 50, then it's probably actually going to be really bad for Bitcoin. So we got to hope for some upside there. MicroStrategy, I'm very curious to see how this opens Tuesday night. Obviously we got the green dot, the momentum wave, pointing the upside. I don't know if that even applies. We got a bullish cross over the moving average and the RSI. And we're back above our trend line, which goes all the way back to this beautiful triangle upper trend line breakout that we had from the initial explosive MicroStrategy move pre all-time high Bitcoin, when everyone was curious and it was the hot new thing. But I think the most exciting thing about this for me is Vanguard buying on January 20th. And again, they must know something because they see this happening. Eventually, is this thing going to pop? And then they're going to be geniuses? Probably. They have a lot more money under management than I do. So, all right, let's copy paste to see what this borrowing rate ticker is from Lunar Entity. So he's got the good ones. REAINTRATREARAT 10Y. Wow. Okay. This is actual borrowing rates ticker. 1.75. So it was going down from 1982 all the way to 2012, and then it bounced up till 2018, and then it went down again into 2020, and then 2022 it started to bounce again. Okay. So what happened that caused all of this? Is this that Accords thing? Lunar Entity said if PMI print is a false print, you'll see a strong negative reaction. Like in 2018 when tariffs first appeared, they bled into 2019, followed by liquidity contractions and eventually the pandemic. Interesting. Okay. All right. I am going to go see what Grok said. We said, what does the new Plaza Accord mean for the dollar? A new Plaza Accord, often dubbed Plaza Accord 2.0 or Mar-a-Lago Accord, refers to a speculation about a modern coordinated international agreement, potentially driven by the U.S. under the Trump administration, to deliberately weaken the U.S. dollar. This echoes the 1985 Plaza Accord, where major economies, G5, intervened to depreciate the overvalued USD against currencies like the yen and Deutsche Mark to reduce U.S. trade deficits. As of early 2026, no formal new accord has been signed, but discussions persist amid tariff pressures, trade imbalances, and dollar strength. Some analysts attribute late 2025 USD weakening to Plaza-like policy signals, though coordinated intervention remains unlikely without broad consensus. Example from China and Europe, complicated by tensions. If a new accord or equivalent devaluation policies succeed in weakening the US dollar, historical precedents and analyst views suggest the following impacts. US dollar would see significant depreciation. Stock market mixed, potentially positive short-term. Weaker US dollar boosts US exporters, multinationals, foreign earnings translate to more USD. Post-1985 US stocks initially rallied, however, risks include inflation, higher rates, or global rotation away from US assets. Bitcoin crypto positive bullish. Viewed as digital gold or hedges against fiat debasement/inflation, weaker USD often drives risk on flows into alternatives. Some link it to tariff era debasement trade defining Bitcoin. Interesting. Okay, I like that. Gold and silver, strongly positive. Precious metals are priced in USD and historically surge on dollar weakness, inverse correlation. Analysts frequently highlight gold, silver as a top beneficiaries of any Mar-a-Lago Accord style devaluation. Excuse me. These outcomes are hypothetical and depend on execution, scale, and global response. The 1985 Accord led to rapid USD drops, but contributed to asset bubbles elsewhere of Japan. Modern versions face hurdles like larger FX markets and geopolitical frictions, potentially limiting effectiveness or causing volatility. That sounds great to me. Yes, Volcker allowed rates to go to 20%, followed by the Plaza Accord, which ushered in an era of dollar weakness, a bear steepening in yields, and multi-decade uptrend in dollar assets. Okay, I like that. Yeah, this is interesting. All of this. Nasdaq. Oh my gosh, monthly on the Nasdaq is crazy. 4 hour showing a little weakness. We talked about this. We looked at this. It's definitely done stuff like this before that didn't end well. So we'll see what Monday, Tuesday brings. We're about to potentially get a bullish cross over the moving average on the RSI, which is interesting. We'll see if that crosses or rejects. According to the fractal, even though it's way off, we did get a little spike down and then a grind up and then an eventual spike up right here. Maybe that's what's happening. Spike down and grind up and then a spike up. I don't know. Should I keep that there and make it really, really transparent? I'm going to do it. Let's see if that comes into play at all. Just for fun. Lunar Entity said, this year we could absolutely range out as real interest rates start to climb. Okay. So we're just going to be choppy, sideways, boring? That would suck. We're probably going to like pivot to an automotive channel at that point. Talk about my 2008 Chrysler Town and Country. S&P 6836. Again, we'll have to wait and see what Monday, Tuesday brings for this. Looking for, I don't know, a reaction. We could have, this might be what just played out right there. Let me fix this. There we go. Okay, so this move might be that, and then right here is where we're at right now. So maybe, again, I'm not putting too much stock into this, so how do I get rid of this? Can I just delete the damn thing? There you go. I'm not putting too much stock into this, pun intended, but we might be in for one of these little fun guys. That'd be kind of cool. A little early fun vibe on the S&P 500. Do you guys think we're going to see above 7K soon, or is it going to take a long time? We got 5 votes in the poll. I said, what do you guys think silver does this year? 40% of you guys said sideways, barely changes. 40% of you guys said down, scary downside. 20% said it depends on the rest of the market. Interesting. Tom Sellerscoat said, I've always wanted to learn how to change a radiator. Honestly, that's probably the one thing where I would be like, I don't think I've ever touched a closed system like a radiator. Lunar Entity said, HYG is a pretty good indicator for risk appetite. A great ticker to look at on the weekly, quarterly. HYG. Okay. Yeah, S&P 6836. Let's see if this double bottoms and then gets us further upside. Back to Bitcoin, down 0.62, currently trading at 68,405 and 6 cents, or 68,408 and 19 cents. We got the news segment. Grok, we answered a question with Grok. Okay, news segment, not Grok. First order of business, Morgan Stanley pushes crypto to retail. We've talked about this, I genuinely believe, and this has been, let's go to the tinfoil hat. So back in the day, back in the 2021 bull market, for anyone that wasn't there, or for maybe those that just didn't hear this or experience this, there was always jokes and rumors and theories that eventually institutions, banks are going to flood your bags. They're going to push the price down. You're going to sell, and then they're going to load up, and then they're going to pump the price. You're going to buy their bags, and they're going to sell to you. They buy the low, sell the high. That's what they use retail for. That is literally what retail is used for. That was always just a joke, like a meme. Now, it kind of seems like it's happening. So we talked about the banks and institutions accumulating. They're not buying for it to go to zero. Now, that's not me saying, oh, it's going to go up tomorrow. They have more than enough money to buy and wait for 5 years, 10 years, whatever. They might not want to do that, but they're buying. They're buying right now. It's provable. That happening means that they think that the price is eventually going to go up. How do they do that? Well, they also have a ridiculously large budget for marketing. With marketing, they convince you to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP or Litecoin or whatever coin they want you to buy. So with all of that power, with all of those big, beautiful, fat, stuffed bags, they will put out all these ads on taxi cabs, on billboards, on TV, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram Reels, anywhere you go. When they want you to buy, they will get you to buy. That's how it works. So this was bullish to me. Morgan Stanley is making crypto a core wealth business. Spot Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana trading is launching on E-Trade via Zero Hash. The bank is also building a wallet and filing for branded spot ETFs. Unlike JP Morgan Chase and BlackRock, Morgan Stanley is focusing on retail and advisor integration, which is exactly what we would hear before a bull market. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. We might be entering a bear market. That might be what their plan is. Establish all of this during the bear market, push it out, normalize it, get people used to it, and then bull market happens, people go, oh, I remember Morgan Stanley, my bank has that thing. I can go buy some Bitcoin. Now that it's at 250K, I know that it's good. And that's what retail is going to do. Lunar Entity said the real economy actually recovers from the extensive damage it has suffered. The real economy actually recovers from the extensive damage it has suffered since 2007. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ethereum outperform post-legislation. Okay. Until then, no way in hell Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin. Payment rails experience explosive growth when liquidity shifts into the real economy. I like it. Okay. Next, U.S. jobs numbers. Are you ready? We talked about this too. U.S. jobs numbers for 2025 revised down by over 1 million. Largest annual revision in decades. So like I said before, the Fed is like, our main concern is inflation and jobs. The jobs market looks great. It's amazing. Everyone can have a job and get a job. And then they come out and they're like, oop, we lied about the jobs numbers by 1 million for the entire previous 12 months. First of all, we pay taxes for these idiots to fudge this that hard. I don't know what they're doing. They're just guessing. They're like, well, I think we got about 1 million jobs in 2025, 1 million more. And then 2026, they're like, oh, we actually finally looked at the data and it's actually down. It's 1 million less than what we thought. That's a big number. That is a huge number. So what is Jerome Powell going to come in during the Fed minutes and go, oh, jobs numbers got revised down by 1 million. So we're going to cut rates now because we based everything off of bad jobs numbers. That's probably not going to happen because they don't give a shit. That's my biggest pet peeve. So hopefully they acknowledge that. Just in, Michael Saylor hints at buying more Bitcoin. 99 is greater than 98. So far, they have made 98 purchase events. Is he going to stop at 100? I don't know. That'd be kind of crazy. Binance founder CZ says lack of privacy is the missing link to crypto payment adoption. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Midnight, the missing link, privacy, and not regulatory clarity. They basically, they would cooperate with the federal government depending on its implementation. So there's like different ways. It is a private blockchain with the option for non-privacy for like institutions and stuff like that. I don't know. I can't explain it as good as the actual creator. So if you guys are genuinely interested, go watch Charles' whiteboard video on it. Lunar Entity said, until then, yep, I read that. Yep, Kevin Warsh has been spot on for the past 8 months. GDP has been a smokescreen for the sticky wage-based economy. He effectively said the job numbers have been fake since 2019. I 1000% believe that. Fun fact, the U.S. government is collecting donations to help pay off its $38 trillion debt. This actually cracks me up, but it's not that dumb of an idea, to be completely honest. It's called income taxes. Yeah, taxes kind of crack me up. A little debt-free, little interest rate-free loan for the government. Brian Armstrong says Coinbase data shows an increase in retail users buying the Bitcoin and ETH dip. Again, makes me a little standoffish when retail does anything. Tom Sellerscoat said maybe that's why Zcash pumped so hard, arrest CZ. Michael Saylor's strategy says it can withstand a drawdown in Bitcoin's price to $8,000 and still have sufficient assets to fully recover its debt. He needs to stop saying words with his mouth, especially price levels. Michael, please shut up. Why on earth would you ever say such a thing? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard come out of his mouth. And he said some pretty batshit things. He's like, Bitcoin could go down to $8,000 and we wouldn't give a shit. And then the banks are like, 8,000 you say? $8,000. And then the next day it goes to 8K. So thanks, Michael. Thank you very much. This one cracked me up. YouTuber Logan Paul purchased this NFT for $635,000 in 2021. Today it's worth $155. Maybe we should buy some stupid cheap NFTs. I like the Nest thermostat on its head. That's actually kind of cool. Biggest wealth transfer in history is coming, or incoming, according to Marty Party. Charlie Bilello posted a record 32% of household wealth is now held by Americans that are 70 years of age or older. So Marty Party is implying that these people are going to die, which is quite morbid. Key events this week, guys. Write this down, take a screenshot, take a picture with your phone, whatever you got to do. Number 1, President's Day. U.S. markets closed on Monday. That is tomorrow. We get to take a breath. Markets just get to continue to be boring. December, number 2, durable goods orders data. December durable goods orders data on Wednesday. So Tuesday is going to be a nothing burger. Number 3, Fed meeting minutes on Wednesday as well. Number 4, December PCE inflation data on Friday. Number 5, total of 10 Fed speaker events this week. Number 6, around 15% of S&P 500 companies report earnings. Expect more volatility this week. Very cool. Lunar Entity said, he effectively said, yep, we read that. Tom Sellerscoat, yep, we read that too. Then Lunar Entity said, I think it's funny. People think the debt needs to be paid off. We monetize it in 2009 along with the rest of the world. Interesting. So did we do essentially what stablecoins do, where they do like commercial paper-backed stablecoins and stuff like that? That's actually really funny, because I've thought about stablecoins. I'm like, we have $38 trillion in debt. Can't we take that and like use that as collateral for a stablecoin and then just pay it off with itself? It's like plugging the power strip into itself. I mean, it's all fake anyways. I think that it would work. Like, legitimately. That's not even a joke. It's so fake that I bet you that would work. They'd be like, well, we just printed more money and paid it. That's the same thing as printing more money and paying it. Then being like, well, we tokenized the debt and issued it as a stablecoin and used that stablecoin to pay off the debt, which then quadrupled our stablecoin value, or, you know, whatever they wanted to make up that day. It's just kind of silly to me. Metals trading activity in China is skyrocketing. Combined trading value in aluminum, copper, nickel, and tin futures on the Shanghai Futures Exchange jumped 86% month over month in January to 78 million lots, the most in at least a year. This is 5 times the average monthly volume seen in the first 11 months of 2025. The surge was particularly driven by nickel contracts, not nipple contracts, which traded 30 million lots last month, plus 300% more than in December. Furthermore, tin volumes recently exceeded 1 million metric tons on a single day, more than twice the entire world's annual physical usage of the metal. A wave of Chinese retail speculation was behind this rise, with metals becoming the most popular trade on social media and WeChat chat rooms. As a result, the Shanghai and Guangzhou Futures Exchange has raised margins and tightened trade rules 38 times over the last 2 months to try to contain the speculation. The metals rush is far from over. Honestly, this might be the funnest time since NFTs, people speculating on metals, because it's such a universal market. There's no one coming out and saying, that's such a dumb thing, why would you trade that, it has no value? Which, you know, I would argue the last time that it felt fun was NFTs, and it was super speculative. There were so many people being like, that has no value. And I mean, were they wrong? Jury's out. Most of the markets have collapsed since then. But there were people who made millions, potentially billions of dollars off of it. So to say that it was fake is kind of silly. There was taxes paid off of those gains, you know. It was a crazy time. Gold, silver, nickel, and copper. The metals market trades feel like that again. And I enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So I am thoroughly enjoying this as well so far. Okay, Bitcoin, $68,385. Everything's quiet, man. It's so quiet right now. It's like weirdly quiet. We're in that limbo area going into Monday. Lunar Entity said banks allowed liquidity to contract in 2007. Went, oops, help please. Then Basel III happened, which effectively monetizing sovereign debt at a global scale to serve liquidity channels for central banking. Okay. Breaking. U.S. jobs numbers were revised down by 1,029,000 jobs in 2025, the largest annual revision in at least 20 years. This follows downward revisions of 818,000 in 2024 and 306,000 in 2023. In total, minus 2,153,000 jobs have been revised out of initially reported data over the last 3 years. Since 2019, minus 2.5 million jobs have been erased from the official data, with negative revisions occurring in 6 of the last 7 years. By comparison, 2009 to 2010, combined downward revisions were roughly 1.2 million. What is happening with U.S. labor market data? It's all BS. Pickle Rick said, so quiet. It's eerie. It really is. Lunar Entity said, if the debt contracts, bank liquidity dries up. Vicious system. Spooky, spooky, spooky. Kobe SE letter posted, Treasury holdings at financial institutions are surging. Primary dealer holdings of U.S. government securities are up to a record $482 billion. Primary dealers are large financial institutions, including banks authorized to trade directly with the Fed and are required to participate in Treasury auctions. These dealers provide liquidity by buying and selling U.S. Treasuries and mortgage-backed securities and act as primary counterparties in the Fed market operations. Since June 2022, primary dealer holdings have surged $400 billion. Wow. U.S. Treasury market dysfunction is rising. U.S. job gains are now entirely driven by education and healthcare. I think we saw this coming. Since 2023, these two sectors have led job creation in 34 months. Over the last 12 months alone, private education and health services have added 773,000 jobs. If not for these sectors, the U.S. economy would have lost 413,700 jobs during this period. Wow. That is crazy. Yeah, unfortunately, I think Bitcoin's going to be boring next 24 hours. Lunar Entity said, you effectively need sovereign debt to expand globally, or banks will start popping. We saw that briefly in 2023 with local banking under the QT Light regime. Oh yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The entire global economy is like based on a Ponzi framework, essentially. China is ramped. That's why they want the population to increase so bad. China is ramping up trade with Latin America. China now reflects 20.9% of Latin American and Caribbean exports, excluding Mexico, marking the 6th consecutive year with a weight above 20%. This surpasses the U.S. at 16.4% and the EU at 12.4%. China's contribution to Latin America and Caribbean exports has surged 20 percentage points since 2000. At the same time, the U.S. and EU weights have fallen by 15 and 5 percentage points, respectively. In absolute terms, China imports $180 billion from the region annually compared to $142 billion for the U.S. and $107 billion in the EU. This comes as Latin America has become a key supplier of commodities, including oil, soybeans, copper, iron ore, and various meats to China. China's global economic influence is growing. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Lunar Entity said, you've read that? Okay. The U.S. dollar continues to lead all global transactions. The U.S. dollar's portion of international transactions via SWIFT is up to 50.5%. the highest since 2023. This percentage is up 11.6 points over the last 4 years. The euro remains in second place at 21.9%, followed by the British pound at 6.7%, the Canadian dollar at 3.4%, and the Japanese yen at 3.4%. By comparison, the Chinese yuan is just 2.7%, roughly unchanged over the last 3 years. Meanwhile, SWIFT processed 13.4 billion trade instructions in 2024, up from 11.9 billion in 2023. The US dollar's position in international finance remains strong. That is quite impressive. Throwback, in 2011, someone bought 10,000 Bitcoin for $7,805. Last year, they sold it for just over $1 billion. A 140,000x. All it takes, man. All it takes. What is that? 14 years? Wow. G Immortal said, "Sup, JJ?" What's going on, G Immortal? Cheers, my friend. Happy Sunday. This is the most exciting thing I've seen on Twitter in a long time. Right here. Cointelegraph posted, Grok 4.2 is set to release next week. And that is directly from Elon today, actually. Grok 4.2, if you guys don't remember, is the only profitable AI model out of all of them that has participated in these random exchanges, like online agentic trading situations. Grok 4.2 was the only profitable one, and we saw that happen twice. So I'm actually excited for Grok 4.2 to come out. This one's kind of crazy. Roundhill Investments filed to launch 6 ETFs betting on the 2028 U.S. election outcome, which analysts say could be groundbreaking but risky. So prediction markets are coming to Wall Street. It's kind of crazy. Circle added 2.6 billion in the past 7 days. That's pretty crazy. That is actually insane. Data centers are 7%, about 7% of the power demand in the USA. So both of these are going to continue to increase exponentially. Stablecoins and data centers power usage. The stablecoin market cap added 5.5 billion in the past 7 days. Again, it's going to continue to increase exponentially. Stablecoins are mostly backed by U.S. Treasuries per the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Is that what that is? Maybe it's something different. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. Insane. This is the first year in history where Bitcoin is seeing a red January and February. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. We have 13 days left in the month? 14 days left in the month? I think it's 13. So we'll see where we end up. But right now we're down 12.2% according to this chart. That was posted 6 hours ago, so it might be a little bit different now, but not too much. DeFi spot volume is up 3x since the start of 2026. That's actually quite exciting. Aerodrome. Okay, what's the biggest one? Uniswap. That makes sense. And then we got Trader Joe V1. Is that right? Or is that Meteora? I don't know. I hate it when they make the colors look similar. I think that's Trader Joe V1. That's actually kind of crazy because I think that's Avalanche. So for Trader Joe V1 to be on there is quite impressive. Aerodrome. So I think Aerodrome is number 1, right? I don't know. This chart's so damn hard to read. GMX, Black Hole, Sushi Swap. I don't know. Lunar Entity said Circle is smarter than people give them credit. They picked an ideal time to print into weakness, right? Update. Over 1.9 billion in leveraged positions were liquidated in the past 7 days. That's a lot of money. We got Mark Chadwick posting, altcoins are already signaling massive upside. It's just around the corner. This is total market cap excluding the top 10, and we're witnessing the strongest sustained weekly breakout since 2021 in real time. The last time we saw this on the weekly, alts exploded 10x to 100x in many cases. Most people can't comprehend it. This is why most people will stay broke. You'll see who's who in the replies. Altcoin total market cap excluding top 10. We got big fat wedge. Not a lot of confluence on the upper trend line. Bottom, a little better. And it does look like it's doing a little double bottom action. See if it pops. This bottom trend line, I guess it's just a loose trend line. It looks like he just kind of placed them there. We're about to get a bullish cross over this. What is that? MACD? Interesting. I like me a good bullish chart. JJH Crest. Are we back at it? Sup, family? What's going on, J Share? Happy Sunday, my friend. Don Wedge posted altcoins number go up 2026. We will see. Looks like a lot of fun potential. You like fun potential? CoinGecko reveals most searched altcoins. CoinGecko has revealed the top 15 most searched altcoins on its platform. In recent hours, a snapshot of where retail attention is flowing. The list includes a mix of tokens that have recently posted strong price moves. Obviously, people like number go up. We got Bitcoin, BitTensor, Tau. We know that's a strong one. Pi Network, that one surprised me. Solana, Hyperliquid, Pepe, Sui, Venice token, don't know what the hell that is. Caspa, that one's quite interesting. Ethereum, Layer Zero, Pippin, Virtuals, Near, and Pudgy Penguins. I want to actually go check Cast because it's been a long time. We actually removed it from the list, but is it doing good? That'd be kind of fun. Not really. Okay. Yeah, it's just sideways. It's interesting how much money he's entered. Do they print a lot? I'm very confused. I know it's proof of work, but I feel like it's been getting shat on for quite some time. I do have a lot of respect for the guy for kind of turning down Binance's listing offer. Binance was like, it was their first big one. They're like, we want to list real projects that have teams behind them and communities. And they probably saw dollar signs with Cass, and they were like, we're going to list you. And the founder was like, nope, sorry. So, I mean, doesn't help the price, to be honest. The users maybe got screwed over a little bit, but, you know, he stood on business, and I respect that. Okay, Silver's 9-month winning streak, its longest winning streak in history, is on track to end this month. If Silver closes below, it looks like 90, 85 maybe, 87-ish, then it will close red, and it will lose this 9-month winning streak. That would be fun to get. 10 months is a nice round number, double digits. We do like double digits. This is a good quote from Buffett. Warren Buffett says, only buy stocks you're comfortable holding for 10 years. Otherwise, don't bother even owning it for 10 minutes. And you got to respect that, man. You really do. I saw a hot take from a guy that said Warren Buffett had insider trading, possibly, allegedly, potentially. I'm not a financial advisor. Please don't sue me. And they pointed out that there was some law put into place that basically outlawed insider trading. And they said in the video, insider trading used to be not illegal. Like, it wasn't legal, but it wasn't illegal either. And before that, Warren Buffett's returns were huge. He had great, brilliant returns. And then they signed that law into place, and his returns kind of averaged out with the S&P 500. And I was like, ooh, like, there's a pretty decent evidence to suggest the alleged allegations. I just thought it was interesting. Lunar Entity said, I feel like we're about to break out every other week on Total 3, LOL. Silver has one of the worst quarterly candles I've ever seen. Yeah, that big fat downtrend was pretty spicy, wasn't it? Quarterly, so that's 3 months. Yeah, that is a reversal. Whoa! Look at that. That is a spooky wick. Look at that volume, though. Holy cow. Wow. I mean, to go from this, just seeing these little baby pumps and being like, wow. You know, like, that difference right there is so minuscule. They almost both perfectly topped out at 50. The fact that it got above 50 and just exploded this time around, that probably felt so good, dude. Because this is, like, weak. This is even more weak with, like, a little bit of attempted strength around 30. And then it fell back down. And then you just got this explosive move. But that wick is pretty scary. That's a scary wick for sure. Okay. 75.56. Go back to Bitcoin. Dominance 58.99. Come on, lose 59. Okay. U.S. national debt projected to soar to 64 trillion over the next decade. Probably fine. It is. Money's made up anyway, so who cares? Retail investors just pumped $48 billion into stocks over a recent 21-day period, the largest retail flow in history. Again, whenever I see retail metrics like this, it spooks me a little bit because retail sucks at pretty much everything. Why would I be excited with, yay, retail's pumping money into the market? That probably means the market's going to go down. Retail's bad at trading. China has 38 nuclear reactors under construction right now. The U.S. has 0. Damn. I think we got to get into nuclear. I really do. Nuclear energy has changed a lot, and I think that the lobbying by the other energy producers has scared people, especially after Chernobyl. Everyone's like, anyone in Chernobyl nuclear meltdown. I don't think most people realize that we have nuclear power plants operating in the United States to this day, and they're quite safe. Okay, where was I? Right here. U.S. housing market has reached its most unaffordable level in history. We got a little bit affordable. When was this? 2012, it looks like, maybe. And then it just got really bad again, 2025, 2026. So we'll see what happens with that. If anything, probably nothing, to be honest. Liquidity said if central banks use the debt as collateral, the people who are worried about it are pissing into the ocean. Oh yeah, it is. It's quite adorable. I've always kind of cracked up about the debt. My favorite is that stupid video of the two dudes that are like dressed up as aliens, and then they're like, they owe like the global debt is like several trillion, hundred trillions of dollars. They're like, they owe $300 trillion in debt, and they're like, who do they owe? Who do they owe money to? Like the planet just owes money to somebody, some celestial being. Oh man. It's gonna be funny in like 10,000 years when they don't even use money anymore, and they look back. They're like, look at those idiots going to work for 8 hours a day, 9 to 5 for paper. Oh man, this one was kind of crazy. 4 hours ago, OpenClaw creator Peter Steinberg joins OpenAI. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says OpenClaw will live in a foundation as an open source project that OpenAI will continue to support. OpenAI very famously, according to Elon, was supposed to go, allegedly, not financial advice, open source, and they did not. We got to check the Harambe chart. Oh shit, you're right. Harambe down 1.85%. Okay. So we've talked about this. Is his death anniversary in May? I think it is. And it seems like April is the best time to buy. But we could do March as well. Should we start dollar cost averaging? Okay, let's actually, I'm gonna mark this level. We're gonna do the middle of February, the middle of March, and the middle of May. Can I put text here? There we go. No? Yes. Mid-Feb. We'll do mid-February. Okay. And then mid-March. And then mid-April. Should I put 2026 here? And then we'll actually have that tracked. Obviously, it shows up on the chart, but it's easier when it's just marked out with the line. All right, cool. 38 buys, 129 sells. It's quite impressive. 128 sells, 129 sells, and the chart's actually holding up. Yeah. Well, liquidity is quite impressive still too. Market cap, 855 million. Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. I'll have to set a reminder. All right. All right, yeah, we'll do that for sure. See if that pumps. Lunar Entity, yep, we read that. Bitcoin chilling. Harambe has found a floor, at least until Bitcoin pukes, right? Yeah, maybe we'll put $5 into it each month or something. So yeah, this was interesting to me, the OpenClaw open source situation. I've been seeing this thing non-stop on X. People are like loading up on Mac Minis, and I'm like, what would I even have it do for me? Like prep for the stream? Like, I don't know. I guess you have to be a really busy person to justify doing that. Or maybe you have like big ambitions. You're like, I'm gonna build this crazy, cool, crazy stuff. Like, I don't know. I like that it's open source. but I guess you still have to pay for other stuff. So I don't know. It's interesting to see where things are going. Wells Fargo quietly posted a head of digital asset services role 4 days ago. Mandate: build a 3 to 5 year strategy across tokenized deposits, on chain collateral, intraday liquidity, and 24/7 programmable payments, fully integrated with wires, ACH, RTP, FedNow, and SWIFT. Comes right after Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan made major crypto leadership hires. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Telling you guys. Department of Homeland Security demands Google, Reddit, Meta, and Discord hand over personal data of users criticizing ICE. This one's crazy to me. This one was actually insane. I don't know what to make of this, but that's very police statey in my opinion. Kobe SE letter, a couple updates here 2 hours ago. The U.S. stock market is witnessing a historic run. The MSCI USA index's market cap relative to the U.S. M2 money supply is up to a record 270%. This ratio is up 120 percentage points since 2022. This now surpasses the 2000 dot-com bubble peak by 40 percentage points and the pre-2008 financial crisis high by 75 percentage points. By comparison, the UK and France MSCI indexes relative to their M2 stand at 60%, still below pre-pandemic highs. At the same time, Japan's market cap to M2 is up to around 60% of the highest since the 1990s. The market has never run this far ahead of liquidity before. That's probably because of leverage, if we're being completely honest. Let's go back to Bitcoin, chilling 68,273. Lunar Entity said people who were around during the dot-com bubble period were so sure that OpenClaw would disrupt the entire tech space as startups started to slash market share from consolidated corporations. And yet, here we are with OpenClaw nestling into Altman's corner. Are you sure that that's the same OpenClaw? Am I crazy? That's kind of crazy if that's the same one from that long ago. Okay. Last one. The recovery in U.S. new vehicle sales remains sluggish. New vehicle sales rose 2.4% in 2025 to 16.2 million units, the highest since 2019. However, new vehicle sales are still below 2015 to 2019 and 1999 to 2006 levels. There are also just slightly above 1986 levels, marking a 4-decade period of structural stagnation. Overall, sales are down 6.4% from the 2000 peak, when 17.4 million vehicles were sold. To put this into perspective, the U.S. population has grown 21% since then. This comes as average retail transaction prices increased 1.5% year over year to $47,104 and are 35% above 2020 levels. The U.S. car market has stalled. Well, what has happened is they were able to charge you a lot more for the same amount of car. So they pay a worker to make one car, or 10 workers, however many workers make one car, and they can sell it to you for more money. So it's more profitable that way. All they're doing is squeezing as much money out of you before you say, I don't want it anymore. And then they're going to be like, okay, we'll lower the prices a little bit because we can actually make more if we sell you more cars, whatever. They're trying to find that sweet spot of greed to claw all of your liquidity away from you. Open claw all of your liquidity away from you. Okay, Bitcoin's still down 0.8% on the day. Looks like it might be finding a floor, if you will. Might actually crash down from here. I don't know. We've definitely seen this pattern before where we get the candles like trading sideways like this. Red, green, then red. And the other way around. Green, red, then green. And I don't know. Usually it just continues going in the direction that it closes at from what I remember. Who knows? Let's see. Portfolio update. The 1K... Nope, I got kicked out. I knew that was going to happen. Dang it. So one thing I forgot to prep with the stream. Excuse me. Okay. 1K to 10K a Grok portfolio. is currently down $644 or 64.4%. Best performer here is Solana, down $50 or 50%. Worst performer here is Aptos, down $85 or 85%. That is pretty damn crazy. Next, we've got the meme coin portfolio. Currently down $706 or 70.6%. Best performer here is Pepe. Pepe is down $107 or 51.4%. GigaChad is down $182 or 91%. That's crazy. Then we've got the narrative portfolio. Currently down $274 or 27, nope, I'm sorry. $274 or 54.8%. Best performer here is Tau, down 45, nope, $35 or 35%. Worst performer is Fetch, down $71 or 71%. Dang. Fetch got destroyed. Tau is doing really good. And last but not least, the knife catching portfolio, previously known as the perfect timing portfolio, which was very bad timing, evidently. Hindsight is 2020. Currently down $602 or 60.2%. Best performer here is Chainlink, down $43 or 43%. Worst performer here is Avalanche, down $74 or 74%. Dang. And that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin, $68,337. My question is, are we going to get our 51,500 pullback touch? Or is this truly a bottoming pattern? So let's see. We've seen the drop, the big fat linger, drop, explosion. Are we in the middle of our big fat linger right now? Drop, drop, big fat linger, and then a lower low, and then an explosion maybe? The big fat linger might go a little bit longer, maybe end of February. I mean, I kind of like that. Let's pull a fractal here. Let's see if we can have some fun. Oh, I think I have it pulled already. Can I cheat? Is that cheating? I kind of like that. That would put us at the middle of March. Maybe. I'll leave it where it was at, though. Okay. Lunar Entity said they used software as a basis for price gouging. Okay. Cryptocurrencies that leverage the token as the only product are going to really feel the pain if we get a liquidity contraction this year. Avalanche lower than the graph. Yowza. Damn. All right. So far, Dream Tanks has the first place spot for his crypto winter guess. Tissue's bear market at 39K, looking a little juicy. We also got Lunar Entities at 48K. Yeah, I don't mind these. Obviously now we got a little bit of recency bias going on in our brains, so it's gonna feel a little bit better. Feel a little bit better talking about these crazy low levels. Whoops. Gosh, my charts are so messy. All right, I want to go take a look at total 2 and total crypto market cap, because it's been a long time, I think, since we've looked at these. Total 2, 948.22 trillion. See, this is the one that spooks me the most, I think. We got support at 1 trillion, support, and then break. And then check it out, resistance. Are we going to come back down to 873? And potentially eventually lose 750. Joshua 511 said Buffett was able to negotiate special dividends for himself when buying stocks. Us plebs can't do that. That's actually true. That's actually true. I gotta see if I can find the Buffett thing, because that was a good one. So yeah, total 2, rejecting 1 trillion does not bode well for us for now. Anyone that can negotiate stock offerings is not a normal individual, right? All right, so we do got a potential double bottom here on a longer term time frame, which is interesting. Geez, we're at the same lows that we were at in April 2025. That's crazy. It does kind of look very similar, though. We got a little... Let's go back over here for a second. We got this very tight double bottom, a little retest, and then a nice grind up. So if I pull this over here, it's going to look similar, just wider. Potential. The concept is there. We have, so far, a wider double bottom, a little uptrend, pull back, linger, and then upside, and then pop. I don't know. The idea is there for sure. Let's see if it plays out the same. That'd be kind of interesting. Get a little 2025, April 2025 deja vu. So that's total to... No real patterns jumping out at me right now. This just looks like a blatant sell-off. We had trouble getting over 132. We clearly topped out at 177. And then we fell pretty dramatically, chopped, fell dramatically again, chopped, and then that chop, double top right there, ended up with a break of that 1.7, and then eventually 1, which is where we're at right now. So reclaiming 1 trillion is going to be a big deal on total 2, and then total crypto market cap. We've got... Wow. 2.32 trillion. Wow. Was not expecting that. Are we going to hold 2 trillion? Or are we going to lose that as well? That would be pretty spicy. We have not been this low since 2024. Saeed said, hi, sir. How you doing, Saeed? Happy Sunday or Monday for you. Today is President's Day, which is completely meaningless, but the federal government likes it, so the stock market will not be open today. In the United States, specifically. So our 9-month bleed, we got 2 months, 9 months, 5 months, 5 months, 9 months, 2 months, followed by chop and then further downside bleed, which we have not seen since we started this run in January of 2024. I guess that 1.82 trillion top right here is my next big support area, especially based on this. It looks like the median zone for the previous bull market, so I do like that concept. Is then acting as support. Can 1.82 trillion be our foundational bottom? So far, we're still got a cloud in the lower half of market cipher. RSI just climbed out of oversold at the beginning of the month. I don't know. I do not know. 2.32. We're staying above 2 trillion, which is huge. Can we reclaim some levels here? Because 2.7 was a big deal to lose. Yeah, that was not great. 1.82 is going to be a really big deal. Like I said, we got median over here. It acted as support a couple of different times over here. Resistance a couple of different times over here. And then most recently, we got a support bounce right here. Broke above, used it as support, continued the upside. Support bounce here and here, little double bottom action, and then that was it. It's been a little while since we've established any volume down here, but we got a nice range. This is a nice range that we established back in 2024, so that has potential to act as like a foam pit, if you will, from the scaffolding that we're clearly falling off of, if we're talking about analogies. Let's see. Yeah, see, we only got like 2 big drops. We got 1 big drop, chop, 2 big drops, and then we chopped sideways and then eventually climbed out of it. Is that what we're doing right now? Yeah, see, it's almost identical. That's crazy. It just happened way freaking faster. I would like to stay above 1.82 trillion on the total crypto market cap. That's going to be my big level. If we stay above that, then I'm all on board. If we get below that, then we will reevaluate and move the goalposts as we do. I think we're pretty good from there. Bitcoin 68,421 and 1 penny. Very cool. I suppose I'm gonna call it an evening. Go eat some food and chill with my family. So, as always, guys, I appreciate you guys for joining me. Happy Sunday. Let me end the poll here. We got 10 votes again. Very cool. Did we get 10 likes is the question. Did you guys smash the like button? I asked you guys, what do you think silver does this year? 40% of you guys said sideways, barely changes. 20% said up, crazy upside. 20% said down, scary downside, and 20% said depends on the rest of the market. Very cool. We got 10 votes. Appreciate you guys. As always, when the market starts to do anything crazy or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Sunday and good night.